going on, guys? Hip Paul's back for the next part of this series, which in this one we're going to try to give him a good run cycle. So when I was building him, which was in the last video, or skin weighting him, I did put on this basic motion layer that gave us this general movement here. I removed a little bit of movement out of his body, but obviously we got to fix these legs, right? So let's see. We need to make an adjustment for this. So we can call this cat walk. Okay, so that way we know that the cat's generating it, right? It's this procedural thingy. And then we'll add a local adjustment on top, I think. And we'll call this foot. Let's see, we'll call this walk underscore foot placement. Okay, because all we're going to do is fix the feet of where they are. So we just need to move them around because we're not in animation mode, so we're essentially moving it across every keyframe. So hopefully we can determine which foot is what. Here they get all jumbled up. That's not the right one. This I think is the right one. Okay, we'll put that one forward. I want to put this one back. We'll have to adjust these per the animation as well. I don't know, the cycle's not correct yet, so we'll fix that later. These, for the most part, should be opposite each other, and they should be like walking like a human. These can kind of do the same thing, like as if you were crawling like a person, and the rear do the same thing. It's just a matter of how they're offset. Now the other thing I'd like to fix, if possible, is I would kind of like to reverse this joint. I don't know how much it's gonna really let me do that. Again, these are all adjustments. It's still animating based on this. These just moving it globally. So I don't know if I'm actually gonna be able to get away with this. It doesn't look. It actually feels like it's getting there now, but it flip-flopped on me, so I don't know if that's gonna hurt. Okay, the first thing I'm noticing is that this curved the other way versus this one, which I did not want to have happen, which means the skin weight from the leg here is being blended all the way down the leg. It's not just right here at the joint where it should be. This should be 100% all the way past this. These three whole segments here should be all the way. So I'm gonna have to fix that really quick. Otherwise I can't pose them. I don't know what's going on. This is actually a critical thing. So unfortunately it has to happen, but that's kind of what animation does. You can work back and forth. An animator kind of sometimes has to be the technical rigor guy. Okay, so leg A1, and we actually want leg A3. So let's go into this mode here, and what we're going to do is basically make sure we're not in element or anything. We'll just grab all these, and leg A3. I don't even really need the skin weight tool. I'll just type 1 there. That's... oh, I see what happened. I'm actually twisted. I'm twisted somewhere. I gotta be. This is upside down. You know what? I'm just gonna hold Control Z until it unfuckers itself. Alright, so can I rotate this guy? Ah. Yeah, there we go. That's the one I want to rotate. This guy. Right? That's what I want to see. I want him like that. Well, do I? Hang on. Maybe I'm being stupid. It's kind of straight. It's kind of always straight, with a little bit of ability to bend. And if it, but see, that's the thing, if it does bend, it seems to bend backwards at this point. Well, not according to this guy. One segment and then practically straight to the foot in a lot of cases. A lot of cases. This case here. Well, no. Very incorrect. There's that joint. That would be this joint right here. It just happens to be straight because he's standing straight. But it can bend there, and it bends down, not up. In this guy's case. Same thing here, but this is a drawing, so I'm not going to count it. Because who knows if he knows what the fuck he's talking about, right? It's fairly straight. It's a drawing, don't look at it. That bends backwards. See, maybe it can go both ways. Maybe it's a gay joint. Or a bi-joint. Bidirectional joint. If I'd have said that in the beginning, I would not be in any kind of trouble. But my mind went to, you know, dick joke mode, so sorry. Alright, so let's see. I can't figure it out. It seems to kind of go like in both directions. I mean, it's a technical drawing, but again, this guy might not know what the frig he's talking about. It's a drawing. I don't care if it's from by Science Joe. He can science all he wants all day, but give me a photo, you know? So it's mostly, it stays straight a lot. It does stay fairly straight, and when it does bend, it's not very bent. So I think honestly my legs in general are not designed well. I should have kept them straight. And you know what? Here's the thing, though. This is what's killing me, is that if they're basically straight, then why the hell is this bone here? And why don't I just do a 2-bone system, in which point I can use foot placement IK to get him to walk over stuff as he's walking, if I want to. I can't do foot bone IK with this setup. There's 3 bones here. I can only control these 2. But if I combine these 2, then I can go from here to here, essentially. Or just think of it, it'll be like that, I guess. And that would be how he'd walk. I'd have a little bit little bit less control over him, though. I wouldn't have any control over this joint. Unless I linked an extra bone off the end for like a twist or something stupid. I don't want to do anything weird and stupid. I don't want to add dumb controls that I don't need. I want to do it fairly quickly. What's happening to my legs? I picked the wrong ones. Look at that, I did that. Ah, damn it. So the question is, do I go forward or do I make it one and go for the foot IK, right? Because I've never tried that yet. That would be a whole new thing for me. And it's the thing I do know about it, though, is it's expensive. It's not something that I can use on 1,000 AI at a time, for sure, guaranteed. 100, I don't know, probably not. You know, maybe 3 or 4 even. I mean, that's the other thing too. That's 6 trace points, adjustment, calculations, and movements, and an average. I mean, I guess the averaging, it shouldn't be too bad to find the position of this guy, but you know, that's the thing. So it's a lot of calculation just for one, and I would do it. I'm talking myself out of it, by the way. I would do it if it was a boss and it was gigantic. I would do it, and it was just one of them, so that the feet, when he's walking, stomping around, will hit stuff and land on stuff, maybe even break stuff. That would be cool. But for this little tiny guy who's supposed to run up and steal a grape or some cheese and run away, he's real small, I don't think I care to do the IK on his feet. I just think it's not worth it. It's too expensive. I want as many of these guys as I possibly can. That's why I actually kept him modeled the way he is too. I don't want to be a cocky prick or anything, but this model is perfect. for what I wanted it to be. The shape is what I wanted, and the amount of topology is exact, because if and when I go to tessellate him, because I may, he should be clean and perfect, because I can also go in and I can remove every other segment and half res him. He's exactly quad model. He's box modeled perfectly. I only extruded or beveled. I never did anything else. So I did do one subdivision level first to cut this other stuff in. But at this point, he can go down one step only, but he can go up a few steps in subdivision levels, and he stays pretty clean. So I don't even know why I was saying that. Like, what does that help? Oh, that's what I was saying. Because I've modeled him like that, I have a very, very, very low res. It's like 300 polys or something, LOD version of him. And I can always do like a very simple version of him if I really wanted to, of just a few boxes, you know. And I can have him, you know, in the LODs be very low quality. And given that, maybe I can push more of them on the screen. So one of the things I got to do when I get to the AI phase, I know I'm dilly-dallying here, but I got to think through it. You know, I got to. You have to. When I get to the AI phase, I want to make sure, one of the things I want to make sure of is that he's as simple as possible in every way. You know, I'm going to have to sacrifice behavior for simplicity, for performance reasons. So I can't do the foot IK, so fuck it, I'll just keep this, right? Let's just go forward, not waste any more time. I want to get to the AI stage, so I just want to burn through a few animations as quickly as I can. These obviously need to go like that. I like his pose, but again, oh yeah, I forgot, right? I did this. Asshole. Hey, retard. How about you uncross your legs, hun? Alright, so we'll go ahead and move that out. And we'll pull these back. We'll match up to the grid or so, somewhere around there, right? Now, I actually don't want to be exact in this case. I don't want it to be mathematically exact or nothing. This might be in mid-stride, so I'm not going to move it up or down, okay, because it'll probably start passing through the ground if I do. I'm not going to fiddle with that. I'm also at some strange part of the animation here, so I don't know. Let's do... Okay, so at the extreme here, that's way too far, so at this particular frame, we'll come back. Okay. And I'm sure the other foot's going to do the same thing at some frame, so let's try to find that. No, not really. That's its max distance. Okay, these are way off the ground and not... Okay, wait. I saw it pass through the ground, didn't I? At frame 0. So let's zero that out. That should... is that just part of their shitty animation? Why is that dipping down so far and fast? And coming back up. What is that? Why am I getting that? Is it counting some kind of a lift or something that I'm not accounting for? What the piss is that jump? Uh-oh. Hang on before I get upset, right? Because I'm going into that mode right now. Like I'm about to get upset. I don't want to do that. So let's see, hang on. Let's go to the legs, we'll go to the foot platform. Lift. Did I ever mess with that? Or reset that? I didn't change anything. Offset position. Let's reset that. Oh shit. Wait. Well, this is a constant anyway, so it's not like it's going to affect any kind of a dip. Because what's killing me is that it's like I have this animation right here that's ending at frame 21 or 2, or fucking halfway between them. I can't tell. And I think there's actually a hotkey here. Hang on. What is it? Control and Alt? Well, that moves it. Control and Shift? No. Right click. Control Alt and right click. There we go. I can stretch it. So it's on frame 21. When no, it's still not right on the frickin' frame. You can see it right here. What is that? Is that here? Is that the lift? What time is that at? Lengths. Times 0.75. Value. Okay. What's this? Time 25 value 0. But they both come back to 0, so what is accounting for that initial dip right there? Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. This sucks. Oh my god. I literally jumped out of my seat there for a second. It scared me. Hang on, I'm gonna add a new one. Okay, cat motion there. And now, can I dump that one? This doesn't seem to be having the same general effect yet. But let me see these feet. Are they going underground or what? Still? Yeah, what the fuck, man? Did I... Let's ignore this. Okay, whatever I'm doing, whatever I did on this local layer broke it. So it's gotta go. Shit. Let's do a world adjustment. Let's try that. Okay, that's the middle foot, dummy. That's the front. That's the back. Fucking, this guy needs to learn his fronts to backs. He's been wiping in the wrong direction. And he wonders why it itches. What the fuck's it doing? Okay, hang on. I gotta change the stride length. And that's not there, that's here. So I might have already need to delete this. So hang on, let's see. So it's a max time of 25, and that's where I'm looping. So let's pull that stride length to half that. Well, even less. Is that coming in live, or I gotta let go? I think I gotta let go. Well, I can't even tell. Whoa. Well, I don't want it to be too short. That's not going to look good. So I need to do the leg position, the foot platform position. That helped me before. Offset position, and I believe it was Y. No. Okay, that's up and down. And this is in and out. Whoa. So, fucking... that goes left and right as well. That goes up and down, so... What? Okay. How am I supposed to work with that? Let's just go back here and fix it. That worked for me before. I don't know why that didn't work this time. Okay, you're way out. And are you below the world? No, thank you for not being below the world. Okay. Now, how are we playing? Are you at least... Is anything going under the ground? No. No, I'm good. Okay. Alright, so I can further fix. Good. I gotta keep this in phases now. Yeah. That one's fine. These are fine. But these need to come up. I gotta be careful not to breach his head, so I probably want to pull these out. I'm not sure if I want him to truck along looking down or if I want him doing something, because once he gets the food he's gonna go like this and he's gonna clamp these closed. So yeah, he'll look up like that, but for now I don't want to do that. I think I'll just have him kind of looking straight ahead. Okay, again he's got that crazy sway. I gotta keep ensuring that nothing at any point passes through the ground, because that happened to me before and now I'm nervous about it. I did something that made it happen. I think it's when I started messing with the rotations of these legs. You can see I gotta fix this and stuff, but that's okay for now. So let's try look at him from the right here, so you can see how much crazy amounts of sway he's got. We need to get rid of that. So we can play it while we're doing this, and we can go to the thorax and we'll say weight shift. Let's just go ahead and scale that way down. Okay, I believe twist. Let's right click that. Yeah. Okay, so I just right clicked it to turn it off to make sure it went away, and then I hit reset to bring it back, because here's the thing. If you zero it out, when you go to scale from now on, it never goes anywhere because you're scaling everything from 0. So it's like trying to make a flat line thicker or something. So you have to reset it so there is a curve there so the scale has an effect. And you can go negative too. As long as you don't leave it right on 0 when you let go, you can do more to it. So I'll just scale it like, you know, to like 5% of it or something, or 10 maybe. Get a little bit in there. Okay, he's also got too much roll, so we'll just pull that down to very low. But not gone, in case I want to pull some back later. I don't want to. I mean, you can always hit reset, so it doesn't really matter. That's okay. You can see the feet are moving in a perfectly linear fashion. Here it looks like they're moving straight up and down, but they are in fact moving backwards, so the way this thing is set up. And another cool thing too, real quick, is, I don't know what this is going to do to the animation right now, but you can actually tell it, I think, in a 0 to 1 a direction. So 0.25 I think is like to his side or something. Yeah, I think maybe, hang on, let's see. That's still going forward. Maybe I gotta ignore the adjustment layer. Nope, that's still going forward. Oh, maybe it's 90 then. Yeah, it's 90. So sorry, it's not on a 0 to 1, it's on a 0 to 360. I'm dumb. I shouldn't even said that. So let's do this. And now you can see he moves to the side, right? And then I can say negative 90 if I want him to go the other way. Right, now he's going to his left. And then I can just do 180 and he goes backwards. And I can give him different poses for each of these. So this is, you know, the kind of power that we get here, which is one of the really, you know, really good things about this system. So for now we'll get him walking forward, and let's just again so I need to fix this foot something fierce to be like there, and I gotta make sure again that I don't bust anything coming up under the ground. Okay, so that doesn't pass through anymore. Now the real test, so I'm gonna hit a save. Actually, save as. It's time for a new folder. Okay. Ant walk forward. Alright, so he's saved. Now I want to see if I can't actually do this, because this kind of seemed like it would work, but I don't know if that makes that stupid ass foot go down. No? It's scaring me a little bit. Okay, no, it's not. So let's go a little further. And let's actually pull this guy out like that. So it's straight, and let's see. Okay, so I think the problem happened when I tried to rotate this one. I think this one counts as the knee. I think I'm fairly set to do the rest of these. To pretty much straighten them out, and then what I want to do... Ooh, what did I do there? Uh-oh. Why is that happening? Did that happen here? Kind of, I guess. A little bit. It's weird. Getting some kind of a weird thing, but I think I can just do that. Sometimes you feel like, oh, there's got to be something wrong with it. There's a little bit of movement in that, actually. So actually, so you can see right from here to here, it's bent that way, and then it's bending back that way. So there's movement in that, interestingly enough. I kind of didn't expect. All right, but I mean, I guess I can just go for it. Let's just do it, quick. Make sure it doesn't bend in an unnatural fashion, and it didn't. It probably means I can pull this closer to his face and whatnot, which is cool. Again, I'm rotating on local, just enough to get it about straight. Yeah, that one comes out real off kilter. Like, I think it's because this is too close now, because I want to pull that out anyway. Okay, please, for the love of God, don't let me have broken anything going through the ground. I didn't. Good. Okay, I don't know about the limb phase just yet. It looks like the two front legs at some point are coming back at the same time. It looks like both the limbs are drifting into the same location. All pairs are matching at some point. There are a few frames off, but you can see here, if I go to the limb phases, you can see it's not enough. So we get it, it's A, B, and then C every other. So we should basically get one side synced correctly. Then we'll do the other side synced the same way, but then we'll shift those. It's can be kind of weird, but I have to pause it right now, and I'll come back and do that. But the video won't. It'll just continue from right here. But I'm just letting everybody know I gotta go and run an errand. So I'll just pick it up. Okay, so what we want to do is get a good sync between these three. So let's go ahead and zero that one out. Now keep in mind, number one, we cannot size this box in any way, which kind of blows. So this tool would be better if we could, because you get a bigger list here and stuff. But in any case, B we'll put halfway. We got to be careful though, because we might want to go like a third. And then C would be like another third. Oh, that's R leg. Hang on, put that back to where it was. L leg C would be like. Let's take a look just at the left leg. Two points of contact at any given time, that's kind of our goal. But there's a point here where these two are coming together at the same time, and I don't like that. So I think what I'm going to do Just go quarter halvesies, just to, and just it puts the two front legs coming back at the same time. So how can I, the only way, that puts those opposite, but that puts the front and the rear in exactly the same time. Now this will put this puts the front and the rear in the same timing, right? Because remember, this is a 0 to 1 phase here, so this is at the 0 point. So maybe if I just brought them in just a little bit. They're still slightly together. Gotta really try to ignore the other side of him, so I'll do something like this. Let's see. I wonder if I could look up like how a real ant walk cycle goes. Maybe it is supposed to be that the front and the rear are in exact timing, because some creatures actually do that. So let me do a little hair research. Okay, while I couldn't find video of a real ant, so like, you know, take this with a grain of salt, almost everybody that animated it did match the front and the rear legs. So, and that includes like some of the robot ants, and that was real footage. So we'll do that, I guess. Kinda didn't want to, but that's okay. So halfway and then full here. So that'll be 0. Okay. And that should sync up the front and the rears. You can see there, they both go up and down at the same time. This one and this one, right? And the other one's opposite. So I probably need to move the middle leg forward in my adjustment layer, but I'm not messing with that right now. So for the other legs now, all we need to do is essentially reverse that. So this would be on the half, this would be on the full, and this would be, I believe, on the half, because it matches. Because this one here can actually be here, and it's going to be in the same spot. As you can see, if I move it back and forth real fast, it comes back to the same point. It's just a loop point. So now each pair should be exactly opposite, front and back, like left and right, which we can double check the front. They're slightly in tune here, so let's make sure that we're slightly out of tune. Let's just go ahead and get the values to be correct. Okay, you can see this leg's pushed out a little bit more forward than the other one. Doesn't make it quite that far forward. If you look on the grid here, it almost makes it to the grid point, and this one doesn't make it anywhere near as close, so that's giving him a little imbalance. That's easy enough to fix. I think we need our up and down bounce to be halved, actually. He seems twisted, like tilted to one side for some friggin' weird reason. So let's, I think that's the roll. Yeah. I don't know why I gotta do that, but I do. Okay. So the cycle, I think, is pretty good. I don't need to mess with this too much anymore, I don't think. I might want to remove the bob in the animation, but let's fix these positions. So we'll go to the top view here, and what I'll do is I'll take the foot right here, this one that goes at its farthest point, looks like it'll be about frame 5, because frame 6 comes back. So I'm going to push that to right there. Okay, so that's right on the edge of my screen. It's a cheat. It's just a cheesy cheat. Now we're going to take this one and go as far wherever it's at its farthest. So it looks like frame 18. And we're going to push it there. Okay. Now, this one looks to be... Actually, we can do this by math. So that's 12.29. We'll just make that the same thing. So it pulls that in. So now they should reach the same point on those feet. Okay. And at this point right here in the animation is where I really don't like what's happening here. So Let's see how much past this point here, where my cursor is, which is this pivot, this goes. Because if it's even right now, I'm not going to change it. It could be a little bit more like that, I think. So hit the grid point, pretty much just past the grid point. Yeah, it goes a little bit past the grid point. So from grid to grid, that's pretty even. This is roughly in the center of the grid. I'd say it's more to the right. So let's move it a little bit like that to compensate. Okay, and we'll do the same thing here. We'll find this guy's farthest point forward, which is going to be here, and we'll pull that back just a little bit. That feels about even. Let's check the distance from the side. Very different. It's much farther out. I want that to actually be even. I mean, it can be off a little bit, but it's not going to hurt to be even. So just do that across the board. Remember, the animation only drives them forward and backwards in the X and up and down in the Z. There's no actual animation on the Y. Alright. So let's see how far back these guys go. That one goes to about there. And then we'll take this guy and we'll see about how far back he goes. Yep, I'm all skewered here because I'm grabbing onto that guy. Okay, let's play that. Let's get a feel for it. Okay, obviously I can't even tell what's going on. It's too fast. You can kind of get a better feel for whether or not things feel jerky if you speed them up. Not so much if you slow them down. You can never rely on just manually dragging this time slider. Your hand always going to adjust for what you feel like the speeds it should be going, and you're never going to be able to stop yourself from doing that. Alright, let's see. Unless you yourself are not looking at the animation. You just look at the time slider. But then what's the point of that? Because you're not looking at the animation. Okay, let me think. I do want the lift in the feet to be higher. It's fair. It's obvious that he's moving around, right? I mean, there's movement in there going on clearly. But when you get really far away from these things, and when you render them out inside of Unreal and stuff like that, these thinner parts, they get lost in kind of the AA and the motion blurry type bullshit. But let's see anyway how it feels with a little bit of a higher lift. So we just pop this guy here, and we can go over to the legs and we'll go lift. Okay, so we'll start playing. I probably want to bring it back down in speed right now for this. Okay, so here we go. So now I'm worried about the lift. So let's try scaling this just 500 just for now, just for shits. A little more spider-like. Don't really like that, so let's reset that. Let's try 250. Feels okay. Feels okay. It's not really a run. For a run, I might do a little bit more cartoony. This could be a pretty good walk, but if it's going to be a walk, I think that there's a little bit too much lift in his body. So this scale, by the way, is now actually based on my watch. If I scale this down to like remove a lot of that lift, just give it just a little bit. If I come off of here and I come back, see how it's back to like this? Now this is actually scaled, it's just fitted vertically for me. So don't let that confuse you. If I reset this, this thing is going to shoot into the stratosphere. Okay, so that's pretty good. Thorax, I don't believe I get any kind of abdomen group, so we're going to have to hand animate the abdomen. And I think that now that I've basically put them into just split walk cycle, like of a human, which I think is actually probably scientifically accurate, but I don't quote me on this, you know. It's just everybody did it this way, you know. So I'm just assuming. Which I find when you isolate your eyeballs to look at the last two legs and the front two legs, that it just looks freaking disturbing and mechanically weird to me. I don't like it when I don't factor in the middle two pair. It's, I don't know, something about that. Seems like two pairs of people legs going opposite each other. Okay, so yeah, that's okay. All right, let's go for a little bit of additional animation here. So this is the world adjustment. I'm going to call this, let's see, home. I hit home and then shift end, right, to get the whole thing. Because sometimes it's really annoying to try to double click through this. You can't get everything, and you try to grab across the whole thing and it won't get the first part, it only gets the last part, and you missed, you know what I'm saying? So home, shift end in every case will always work. W underscore foot placement, foot leg fix, we'll call it that. Alright, now we're going to add a local adjustment, and this is going to be details, actually home walk underscore details, like that. Okay, so the details meaning the little thorax moving, the mandibles chattering, these things feeling around, and his head maybe looking a little bit left and right or whatever. Okay, so we are on a 25 scale animation, so what that means, I actually don't like that. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I'd kind of like to either go to a 20 or a 50. I think I want to go to a 20 phase, but I'm not sure what that's going to do to everything. A 20 phase is on a, thing is 25 is not divisible by 4, so you can't split it in half and then half again. In fact, you can't even split 25 in half in the first place. You can't get the halfway point here, 12.5. So 25 is a shitty phase to use. 20 is much better because you can go half that is 10, half that is 5, and it isn't until then that you start losing it at 2.5. You got to decide if you're going to go to 2s and 3s or 8s or 7s, you know, that however many away from the 5 point. So I'm going to swap that because it's going to be easier. And you know what? I don't think that this is actually true. I think that what I'm about to say is actually incorrect for sure. But I think that it's actually easier to sync music to an animation that's on a 4 scale because it's on the beat marker. Take that for however. I guarantee you the math doesn't work out on a 30 fucking FPS thing. Okay, 30 FPS, however per second or whatever, it doesn't work out to probably 4, but maybe it does, I don't know. But it does when I have used a 4 system like this, which again can scale out, you know, easily because you can go, you know, 20, 10, and then 4, you can do 4 5 times, right? 4, 8, 12, 16, and then 20. I have found that it does sync up to soundtracks. But maybe it's just me, but it just seems that way. It just seems that the things just happen easier. I can cut music tracks and shit into videos and stuff easier when I use that kind of system. Like the stomps. Like if I do a stompy walk cycle and I do it on this 4 scale here, I can actually time that stomp to a beat of any kind of general rockish type song. You know, I probably can't time it to something like reggae or swing or something. I don't know music. I really don't. So, but it does seem to work out. So I'm gonna go on the 20 with all that bullshit that I just said. I know it was a big rattle on, but sorry. That's a long-term thinking kind of thing, you know. So hopefully that doesn't effer us on our phases or anything weird. It shouldn't. We should be okay. Although, however, you'll notice we're getting a jump in the animation, and the reason for that is because we're looping at this point here at 20, so we're getting about 5 frames in before we're starting over. So we can either put this at 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. We're going to go with 100 so we can see 4 cycles of it. Okay. We'll go boom. Alright. And when it loops here, we shouldn't see a jump. And you can always test that if you can't tell because it's kind of maybe animating too fast. Put your slider here on either the last frame or the first frame and hit the arrow to go the other direction, and it'll loop around the other way. And you should see no difference in your mesh. Okay? When you go between the first and the last frames here by hitting that arrow. Now it does bring your cursor with it, just keep that in mind. So you kind of be disorienting. You're down over here, your eyes are up here because you want to look. You click this, and now your instinct is to pull your mouse from over here to over here, and you end up shooting it off the screen, and then you lose your mouse and you're like, where the fuck am I? It's happened to me like a million times. So this is actually, this will like throw you off. If I just keep clicking, notice how my cursor is moving. I'm not moving my cursor, but it's sticking with it. So that is actually disorienting, just in case. But this is the way to check. Just go like that, and we're good. Okay. Again, if I put this on a 25 frame marker and I hit this, we have a drastic change in the pose, right, between the first and last frame. Just going to 20 will alleviate that altogether, or 100, or any multiple of 20, because it's going to loop at that point every time. So, no difference. Okay. So, overall he's okay, he just needs the movement really in the head and stuff like that. And now I'm on a cycle that I like. I don't know why I should have done that probably earlier, but it really doesn't hurt. I can actually at this point go to 33 if I want to. You know, I don't know if I can do 30 or anything. I don't know if you can do that. Probably can. And then 100. Actually, I'm curious. Why not? We're here. What do I get at the first and last frames? A very, very minor, almost an anti-aliasing shift. Look at that, the difference. So those loop points are actually fairly close. And the system won't really care. It'll just interpolate between them anyway. So you could do a thirds if you wanted to. That's cool. But I don't want to. I want to do 20s. Alright, so yeah. Alright. I guess next we'll do this part of the butt. I was just kind of contemplating whether or not I should end the video, but I'm going to go forward with it. I don't think I need to do too much. This is going to be the walk details. I do, however, have to leave for about 15 minutes. So the video will just pick right back up. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to get a little bit of a wiggle in the butt. So we're going to come here, and this we're actually going to do animation. So we're going to turn on the auto key here. You can hit N as in Nancy for that, and then we come over here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock a couple of keyframes in so it's in this position at this, and then at this point I could take this and I could say just go like that, so it goes whoop, whoop, right, goes down. Okay. Now the thing is if I want to stretch this out so that it keeps doing it, because right now it just does the one time, I could hold shift, keep duping, grab more, keep duping. But then if I want to make a change, I gotta go through every fifth one there, right? So let's not do that. Let's instead, with this bone selected, it's Alt X, so he's got some color in him, and we'll right click and we'll say curve editor. And then let's move that up a little bit, make sure it's still in the window, and we'll go edit controller, out of range types to loop. Now you can see that it just repeats over and over and over again. So what happens now is if I play it, see, now it keeps going up and down. And I can decide if I want that on, say, 10, or maybe I want that, you know, going a little bit slower on a 20 loop. I just got to move these 2 frames. It's half the speed that his body's bouncing right now. Every time this peaks down, this is coming down. But it's gone up and down twice. So I actually like that. It offsets the rhythm a little bit. Okay. Now we'll do his mandibles. And we're going to do the same basic thing here. However, I'm actually going to extend out and capture another keyframe. And the reason for that is because between here, well, maybe I want to do it twice. I want to chatter them together. Then I want them to actually come apart a little bit more, because he's going to chatter them together again. Just like that. Okay, so it's 2 times, 1, 2. And now I want to break where he doesn't do that. So I'm not going to loop this one. And what I want to do is I want to try to have an even number of frames. Right now I got 40 frames between here. I've only got 20 here. So if I move this back to here, then I've got 30 frames in the start and the finish, and I got 30 frames before I get back to the same thing. So let's try that. So chatter, 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 and that should be on a fairly even rhythm now. Okay. Based on a 100 frame walk cycle. This doesn't work. I now have officially locked myself into a 100 frame walk cycle, just in case anybody was wondering if that happened, and it did. So let's get this guy. This one can just bob around, so we'll do the same original technique, and we'll do them both at the same time. So we'll just click a keyframe. We'll set the loop points here without any animation, then we'll come in the middle, and I don't know, like do something like that, and I can offset it a little bit here and there. I'll show you guys how to do that. So we're just going to go straight into the curve editor, and to edit controller out of range types, we'll set those to loop. Okay, and now you can see that they're going to keep going up and down. But so what I can do though is I can take, say, the tips and maybe offset that. Just grab all these by 5 frames. So it's kind of poking forward a little bit now. And then what I can do is I can take all of these and offset them 10 frames. I hold control when I do this, by the way, so that I'm only moving time. If I don't do that, I can actually move them anywhere. So the way that I lock that is I hold control and I'm only moving time. So time is 10, it's an offset of 10 frames. So now they should be opposite of each other. Or they're exactly the same. Hang on, maybe I gotta go 5 frames. Oops, hold control. There we go. Yeah, now they're opposite each other. So he's kind of poking those forward. Not too much movement, just something, right? I think we can do the head. Actually, we can come out of auto key here. Let's give it a quick save. I think the head can actually be done through the motion layer. No, I added a bone, not a head. So the head's got to be animated the same way. Unfortunate, but that's okay. So what I want to do, I'm trying to think. I may do a double layer here. The reason is because I kind of want his head to bob a little bit, just based on the walk cycle. Should have his head give a little bit of movement, but I also want to have him look around. So we're going to need another layer for that. And that'll be the last thing we do. So let's just bob his head down just a little bit like that. Right click, go to the curve editor, and edit controller out of range types. We'll click on loop, hit OK. We should see that spam across, and we do. We can now play that. Okay, I'm not liking it. It's better. It needed to be offset. It was opposite his up and down for his body, so it just looked like his head, he was like bobbing his head. Now it's in that same rhythm, and he gets some head movement in there. Okay, and he does the 2 little chip chops. Chop chop. But now because we're looping, if we add anything up over here or whatnot for him to look left and right, that's going to cause this to be stopped. He won't be bobbing his head during the in-between because these frames, it'll loop the whole sequence. So we need an actual another layer for that. So what we're going to do is add a local adjustment, and we'll name this one head look, like that. Okay, and what we'll do is we'll actually, let's see, do I want to go local here? I actually want to go by view here so that it's a straight turn, and then we'll fix it after. So he's going to look to the left, okay, and he's going to stay there, right? And then He stays looking to the left. Actually, he's going to stay there for quite a long time. And then he's going to come over here and he's going to look to his other left. And he'll stay there. So he looks, and at some point he's got to return back to 0 unless I start him looking that way. Okay, which would be, I need to dupe that to there. So looks to the right, looks to the left, and then he should stay looking to the left forever. Now I can make this be a little bit more often that he does it by just duping it. I don't want to breach 100 over here, but this might be too much. Yeah, see right there, I don't like that. So we would actually, I think, need to get rid of those. And then that would be opposite. So let's see, hang on. Actually needs to be moved back is all. So there's 15 frames in between, that's fine. Between movements here, we have 20 frames, but we only have 10 here. So we need to come back 5, split the difference, and then, so it's, but personally, in my personal opinion, I don't like it. But then again, he's kind of never going to be looking straight. So maybe it's better if we centralize this to somewhere around there, and then I'll steal this keyframe. Now he's going to slowly drift unless I, so he'll look, but see, he immediately looks that way and then the other way, so I can't do that, so he's got to hold that, so I'll shift that and replace it. Okay, so he starts to the right and then he goes straight. He goes back to the right again? That's not right. He should go to the left. I'll hold shift and we'll do that. Okay, and he looks to the left. And he looks to the right. And then at some point he's got to look back straight again. So that's where this has got to end. And I might as well take that one to there. That's too fast, I think. He's going to jerk it at the end. We'll see. Now I like it. He looks left, then he looks right, then he looks straight again. Left, right, straight. And it feels like an even timing. Feels fairly even here. Because I split these in the middle, which is weird, I know, but yeah, I like it. And if I don't like it, or if I don't want it, so I could export this and say, okay, this is him doing charge mode, and this is him like wander mode. You know, real subtle difference, but there's a difference. You know, he's looking left or right. He's either doing that or he's not. You know, so I think that's it for a good, a fairly decent walk cycle. I don't mind it too much. It's not overblown. It's not overdone. It's a little subdued. And it should work. We can. I don't exactly know how this is going to work out, but I'll test one more thing and then I'm going to end this video, and we'll go on our next video. We'll do other stuff. There's one more option in here in case we wanted to try root motion. We can say walk on spot, which is what we're doing now, or we can try walking on a line, in which case he actually cruises out, and that's what he's going to look like in the game, walking around. So I'm kind of, to be honest with you, I'm tempted to attempt root motion on this, and that's the beautiful thing about using the cat motion like this, is because you can just be like, oh, well, it didn't work, so I'll just come back and export like this. Well, or if it does work, you know, the root bone's moving. His thorax is the root bone, so that should work. I may even want to rename it root bone, but yeah. And then maybe the animation will stick really well, you know, because I don't know how the I don't know when they run if they do a different animation, because that's the other thing too. Is you can see here it's all based on these numbers too. So if I want him to go further, I can actually, if I increase this, it's probably going to break the animation, but let's just say like 150. See, he actually moves a lot further. He's got a longer stride length. So we could do something like this and adjust it in a way to make him so that he runs and he maybe goes twice as fast, right? Oh, I actually animated that. You see that? So I definitely want to undo that. But there he goes at 80. You know? So we could try that. And he looks pretty good, I think. Can't exactly get in a good spot here for him to walk by. Yeah, it's not bad. Right? It's not bad. The feet stay planted. If you look at any one foot, it sticks to the ground everywhere it goes, which is important. He's moving in a linear velocity. He's not, doesn't have any kind of acceleration or anything like that. So yeah, I think it'll work. But for now, I'll just keep this in walk on the spot. I find it easier to animate, even if you're gonna do root motion. I still find it easier to animate this way. And in the cases where I wasn't using cat rig, I would actually create a bone. Let me pause this real quick. I would create a bone that would be like linked to one, oh, no, not a bone, a camera. I'd create a camera that's linked to one of the bones, and I would always look through the camera. So even though the guy's moving in a line, because I have to animate the bone moving, in order for me to make sure that his mannerisms and stuff, if I were keeping track of all that with a camera that's moving right with him, you know, that's what I had to do. But this, now you can just swap back and forth between moving on a line or staying in place. It's beautiful. So this is Hit Pause signing off. Hopefully you guys found this one interesting and fun. Again, it is cat rig, and it's a six-legged thing. It actually is kind of the same for a human. Most of the process is the same. It's just a matter of, you know, the style of animation's got to be different, right? Because you got to do different things. But anyways, and you can get away with a little bit more in stuff like this, right? Because you know, if they do things that seem unnatural, then it's kind of like passable already, because it's already a giant ant, you know, so it's not gonna, it isn't taken all that seriously, right? But when a human has a weird bend in his leg or something weird, like this guy's, these legs are kind of doing that weird sway. I'm leaving it because I kind of like it. But if a human did that with his knee, it would be weird, and you wouldn't think that, you know, you'd have to fix that. But in this case, I can get away with it. So certain things, monsters, you can get away with stuff because they're not natural anyway. There's no point of reference. Like, oh, it never bends that way. How do you know? You know, you don't know. So we do know in ants, you know, I mean, we obviously have plenty of reference. But in the case where there's minor stuff, these little things happening, where the legs might not be exactly correct or whatever, it doesn't stand out as all that messed up, because I've seen variations of them where the legs are bent backwards, forwards, all different types of ants. So what type of ant is this? I don't know. You know, it's the hybrid mutt ant, right? I have no idea. But like I said, you know, with a person, you can't let the knees go sideways like it's doing here. So anyways, this is Hip Hop signing off. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Next one we're going to do idle, I think. And I got to do the thing where he picks stuff up. And I probably need to do an attack. I probably need to do him getting hit. I may or may not do him dying, because I may or may not use ragdoll. But I may also do funny, like, death pose animations, because there's some fun stuff you can do with that, where you animate him like getting flipped backwards and taking on a twirl, and then you cut the animation short right as he gets to his fastest speed, and then right at that moment in the game you start simulating, and then he should technically go twirling and flying away based on the start of that animation. So we may try something like that. May not, probably not. Just saying, probably not. So thanks for watching.